It is Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, and intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Hope everybody's doing well. Quick reminder, last week we had a little thing with Applebee's. Y'all had to write in the comments on last Friday's show who would fill out our dinner table foursome. It'd be the two of us, it'd be you, and it'd be somebody else. We are going to pick a couple of winners for Wednesday's show. Okay, Plouffe?
I love it. I've been going through the comments. I have a few that I'm deciding between, but the fans did a great job.
Great job.
Yeah.
Excellent. If you want to put in some late entries today just to make us laugh, I don't think they're going to count, but you can put them in the comments section. I always like that. It's always good. Let's get to it with a tip of the cap. So the Diamondbacks had an off day in New York because they play the Mets at Citi Field in a series starting on Tuesday. And Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be on the mound on Tuesday. Wanted to go and get a little throw in, but he couldn't use Citi Field. So what did he do? Went to Central Park, and he found just some random dude who wanted to play catch with him. I love this.
I love this too. I love playing catch. I'll play catch with anybody
Yes,
as well. So me and Erod are like on the same page. I actually have this game that I play, and my friend Ollie. He's an agent at CAA, but was a ball player, high school teammate of mine. We do this thing. We'll have a football with us. And kind of just like tossing the football up in the air. And then you see there's always guys when you're walking by somebody, if they start eyeballing you, Ollie will just throw in the ball. And it's incredible. I love America because of this. Dude, people are ready to play catch at any given moment. They make eye contact, throws the ball, they catch, and like the smile on their face that always comes is amazing. So we need more catch playing in this country. We really do.
Well, I don't even know if it's relegated strictly to this country because there's something that keeps showing up on my, I think it's on my Instagram feed. It's the dudes who roll out the basketball hoop. Have you seen those guys?
Yes.
Yeah, where they just bring out a basketball hoop and they throw somebody a basketball and then they rank it on 1 to 10 on either if you take a shot or the form of your shot or if you make the shot, and they all go nuts when somebody makes it. That's some funny stuff.
It's so good. Jake, like when Jake did the dribbling through Manhattan.
Yes.
And passing the ball, like people just want to play ball.
That's true.
You know what? Yeah, it could be anywhere in the world, but obviously I live in America. I think we do a great job with it, and more people need to play ball.
Breaking news, everybody! Trevor Plouffe lives in America.
I do.
This is brought to you by the Baseball
I love
Today
Italy
News
too,
Desk.
though. I need to go back to Italy.
All right, let's get it going with a little bit of history. It's not the kind you want. The Colorado Rockies, whose hat I am adorning today, they're off to the worst start in the modern era of National League Baseball, thanks to the Atlanta Braves.
This few wins through 27 games, and the Braves are trying to make it 4-24 here tonight, and that helped. Sean Murphy with an RBI single.
For those of you that are audio only, Plouffe just covered his eyes because he can't stand to watch it. Let me get through some of the numbers before we talk about it. They've lost 7 straight. They've lost 15 of 16. They are 4-24 on the season. Worst start in the National League since 1901. They are on pace to go 23-139. Are you sad or mad about what we're seeing in Colorado?
I guess a little bit of both. Sad comes to mind. I've played on bad teams, Chris. Everybody knows that. Like I've played on a 100-loss team before. It's terrible. It sucks. It sucks showing up to the field. You feel defeated. It's hard individually to get motivated, during a season like that. I have more numbers too, if I can read them off.
Please.
They have because this isn't just a one-sided problem. This is the whole team is kind of like stinking it up. So they've allowed less than 5 runs. Well, so they've pitched in a game where they've given up 4 runs or less only 8 times in 28 games, okay? Not good. They've scored more than 4 runs. So they scored 5 or more runs only 5 times in 28 games. It's bad. And Chris, it doesn't get any better because they have 135 games left and the winning percentage of those remaining teams is .535. They haven't even played the hardest part of their schedule yet. They have the hardest remaining schedule by winning percentage than any other team in the big leagues. This is the 4-24 Colorado Rockies I'm talking about. It's going to get ugly there, Chris. I feel for the fans. I feel for the players. I feel for pretty much everybody in this situation. It's tough.
Yeah, I'm going through their schedule. They've only played 2 series against their own division, and they have not won a game yet. They went 0-6 combined against the Padres and the Dodgers. So they'll start playing San Francisco in the next series and Arizona a few series after that. But the point is that this is, those other 4 teams are awesome. They're really good through the first month of the year, and Rockies really haven't faced much damage there. Okay, so am I sad or mad? I'm sad for our girl Kelsey. I'm sad for her. Michelle brought that up when I was putting the show together last night. She goes, "Doesn't Kelsey still work there?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I feel bad for her." I said, "Yeah." She's got a lovely newborn. Shout out JoJo.
Oh, shout out Casey.
Casey
Her husband just had a birthday.
Yeah. The rest of it is a disgrace, right? The owner was talking in spring training or maybe a little earlier about how the Dodgers are bad for baseball. I have to admit, I'm no expert. I think this is probably really bad for baseball. They are off en route to a 4th straight 90-loss season, a 3rd straight 100-loss season. Who was the last homegrown stud? It was Arenado and Story. Right? Those are the last guys that you could really buy jerseys of where you felt.
I could argue there's a few studs on the team, Chris.
I agree. There are some guys who have actually been first-round picks that are up right now. Like Michael Toglia hits the ball 450 feet when he connects. They've got other.
Ezekiel Tovar got off to a really good start in his career. Mm-hmm. Like he's not doing great this year, but he's a very, very solid shortstop. Brenton Doyle's won the Gold Glove. Like there's some players on that team. It's just, this is baseball. 1 or 2 players doesn't mean anything. You have to. And this is what I don't understand too, Chris. Is like they understand they play in a field that's an anomaly in the big leagues. Similar to the way Seattle Stadium is, but we all know about Coors Field and the effects that it has. So they've never tried to draft or develop according to their field. I don't understand why. Like we should not be having fly ball pitchers ever in your rotation in Coors Field. Maybe one just to throw things off. You need to have guys that keep the ball on the ground. Hitters, like you need to have the guys that can use the air and use that to their advantage. You better have incredible defensive outfielders, which they do in Brenton Doyle, but you have to have guys that go get the ball. You don't need super power hitters in your outfield because the power is going to be there because of the elevation. You need guys to be able to go and track down balls. It's a very spacious outfield. They just have never done that, and I don't know why.
I mean, they've tried everything pitching-wise. They've brought in free agents. They've tried to draft guys in the top 5. They've tried all sorts of stuff. In terms of maybe the type of pitcher has been off base, but they have tried everything. And the person that they spent the most money on in free agency history for their franchise, who knows how much longer he's going to be playing baseball in Chris Bryant. We just don't know. And when he has been out there and has been healthy, he has not produced.
You have a guy, Cal Quantrill, had a successful year there, and then he's gone. Like you have to find guys that can do it, whether that's metrically, and like I said, you just want a ground ball pitcher or somebody that's figured out, like that doesn't rely on a sharp bending breaking ball. Like we have to be able to figure out how to play at our own stadium, and they've never done that.
They also don't spend a ton of money. They only have 4 guys on their roster that are making more than $4 million this year. 3 of them are in their rotation: Freeland, Sensatella, Marquez, and then Ryan McMahon is the other one. Last thing I want to bring up here, and we're not here to beat down on all the. I mean, this sucks for the fans. I've had to root for some terrible, terrible Indians teams back in my day, so it is painful when you're a baseball fan and your team is out of it. I remember David Letterman, great late night talk show host back in the day, I want to say it was the late 80s. It was opening day, and he walks out in his monologue, and he goes, "The Cleveland Indians have already been officially mathematically eliminated." But it was funny because it was basically true, and this is the way the Rockies fans feel. Do you think that people are rooting for them to significantly break the White Sox single-season loss record set last year?
Nobody cares. I didn't care last year when the White Sox did it. Like, it's not like a fun thing to celebrate. Just nobody cares, and I think that's the problem. Nobody's going to care about this Rockies team. And to say that's very disheartening. Nobody's going to care when they break the record. It's not like something that you celebrate. It shouldn't be covered by the media. It should be mentioned in passing, but this is not something to harp on. It's not even something to pay attention to be honest with you.
I mean, but if they get 25 wins, you don't think people are going to pay attention?
They will, but what, for a one segment on one show? Like, who cares?
That's true. I think
we better be better than that, Chris. We better just mention it and move on, because let's talk about the teams that are actually trying and that are giving something back to their fans.
Are you upset that I led the show with them?
No, I never get upset with you.
Well, then you can. You could say I think it's bullshit. It's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm curious. I want to hear from people. Are you going to care if they are if they get less than 30 wins, which is, my God. I mean, even the White Sox last year got 41 wins, right?
I don't even know how to feel, Chris. I'm indifferent. I don't care.
I want to know how people
feel.
I
want to talk about the teams that are trying and the players, and I want effort.
Can I tell you something? I called for Fox football in 2008, the first NFL team to ever go 0-16. I called the Lions' last loss of the season at Green Bay. It was brutal. It was brutal. Calvin Johnson walked into our pregame meeting, and he was in his second year. You knew he was going to be incredible. And he sat down, and he's like, "What
was my friend quarterback of that team?"
No. He was the reason that team was the reason Matthew showed up in Detroit. He was the first.
Never let that happen.
Year. He would. Dan Orlovsky. I had Dan Orlovsky's game the week after he ran out of the back of the end zone in Minnesota. So he was great in the production meeting. He was great. He was hilarious. We were like, "So what do you want to say?" He's like, "My agent left me a voicemail," just laughing hysterically. It's pretty good. You took it. All right, here we go. We're a baseball show. We showed you Erod a little bit earlier. Well, maybe he's going to wish that he is throwing batting practice to people in Central Park instead of facing the New York Mets lineup, because guess what? We had a little more history as the Mets became the first major league team this year to get to 20 wins.
And Brandon pulls one over the bag. That's going to go down the line. It hits the jutting stands. Alonso is in. Winker will score. Vientos will be held at third. Brandon Nimmo with a 9 RBI day, tying a Mets club record.
These days don't come very often. It's taken me 9 years, and like you said, that's really cool that, tied franchise record. You just enjoy days like this, and this is, one of the reasons that you play baseball.
You seem to be laughing at something. What is it?
I don't know. I like Brandon Nimmo. I do. Every time I hear him talk, I'm like, I like this guy. He seems like a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. 9 RBIs. That tied, as we heard, a franchise record with Carlos Delgado. So 9, it was cool. The director always does a great job on SNY. They focused in on his number 9 on his back when he got to second base, and then in the post-game interview, it was neat. That was good stuff. By the way, just before we move on to the Mets topic, do you have any idea what your career high in RBIs in a single game was?
Ooh, I don't think I had like a crazy game ever. I'll say I made a grand slam a few times. So, I'm going to say 5.
Ding, ding, ding. Here it is. This is your grand slam, your first career grand slam against the Chicago White Sox. You added another knock for a 5 RBI. Look at you, thick Trev.
Oh, what a swing.
Look at you.
Me and T. Hunter.
And then how about this little bleeder through the infield? They weren't going to get you at first anyway.
You know what? Hit it where they ain't, Chris.
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
You push him back with that grand slam, and then you bring him in with that little C9 single right there, baby.
Yeah. Okay, memories. All right, so let's get back to the Mets, if you don't mind here.
Please.
Nimmo hasn't even really taken off until this game. We'll see if that propels him a little bit forward. They just brought back Jeff McNeil. He's playing outfield for them. Francisco Alvarez just returned as well. With the addition of those two dudes, are we looking at baseball's best lineup?
They're one of them, Chris. They are. You look at that lineup in 1 through 9. You're like, okay. I actually love that McNeil is chopping it up in center field because I like Acuna in the lineup as well. So that makes sense to me. And yeah, when you look up and down, these are all proven ball players, which I like a lot. But they're 9th. Oh no, what are they in OPS? Yeah, they're 9th in OPS right now. I know they're getting guys back. I know Nimmo hasn't been going, but you could say that for a lot of teams. Like for the Dodgers, like Mookie hasn't really gotten going, and Muncy really hasn't gotten going. I'll probably still say that I'd have the Dodgers and the Cubs above them, and then the Yankees were leading all of baseball in OPS. You could probably have them in the discussion as well. So like they're up there, but I'm not ready to anoint them like this is the best lineup in baseball. I'm not trying to downplay what they've done. But no, I'll still say the Dodgers is the best lineup in baseball with the Cubs right there. And then the Diamondbacks are always like, hey, what about me?
Yeah. So I think the Mets are top 5 or 6-ish. I do like it because you mentioned that so many of the players have stats on the back of their baseball card. I think the one guy that can change the trajectory of this lineup the most is Mark Vientos. Because a couple of years ago, 837 OPS, I guess it was last year, right?
It was last year.
49 extra base hits in 111 games.
He's been a lot better as of late. If I remember correctly, I was looking at his baseball reference page the other day, and like since a couple weeks ago, he's been going. So
yeah. So I think that they're in the discussion. You did mention the Dodgers, who are it's based strictly on what guys have done. The Cubs, we both love the composition of that lineup. And the fact that they're getting so much productivity out of the catching position is fantastic for them. But and Pete Crow Armstrong seems to have really figured something out here early in this year. You mentioned Arizona. I think we really got to focus on them. Basically, every regular in their lineup outside of their catcher and Gurriel have an OPS over 740. And that doesn't even really include Ketel Marte, who's working his way back from an injury. So I love that lineup. I think they can beat you a lot of different ways. They can put the ball over the fence. We've seen what Corbin Carroll has done. They can run the bases. Even Josh Naylor has a handful of bags stolen. I love that lineup. I think that is a sneaky, like top 3, top 4 consistent lineup. Yes, sir.
I hope you haven't you don't have this page up in front of you. Do you know who has the 5th best OPS in baseball right now?
Team or individual?
I'll read the first 4 teams off. Yankees, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Dodgers. Who's the 5th team?
What's the number?
The OPS is 748.
The Giants.
The Mariners.
Oh, yes. The Mariners. Yes.
Yes.
They have been on a ridiculous hot streak, and we will get to, if they start winning, I think they've got a series with the Angels maybe starting tonight. If they keep doing it, because they've had, consecutive AL Player of the Week award winners.
Polanco's been going off.
And
Dylan Moore before that.
Yeah.
And yes, Edgar Martinez showing up. Let's go.
Okay, we might have to have a topic for them.
Edgar Martinez or Clint Hurdle?
Stop. Don't do that. This is a great hat, by the way.
It's I love the Rockies uniforms. I'm a purple guy. Purple and green are my 2 favorite colors.
For our for dugout discussions, we have a new little segment which we started. We do a segment that's called Salary Cap, where Michelle and I walk around LA and see if they can name certain hats. We're going to take this one out soon. And we give people $5 if they can tell us the name.
That's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a baseball in the Rocky Mountains right there.
I know, but this is Los Angeles.
That's
and
true.
You know that not everybody is a sports fan.
All they want to do is look in their phones at their Instagram to see how many likes they got.
When I walked out and we saw a guy when we had the Pittsburgh Pirates hat, he called them the Pittsburgh Paydays. Why not?
Depends where you go in LA. I made a very harsh statement about my own city, but it depends where you go in LA.
I won't be doing this at Dodger Stadium or Angel Stadium because I don't want to give away.
Well, one of those is in LA.
Okay. Today's episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by DirecTV. It is the ultimate destination for baseball fans because what makes watching baseball the perfect thing? That's right. DirecTV, completely satellite free. Yes, you heard me right. There is no satellite required to enjoy the game that we all love. Watch your favorite team score big, nothing on your roof. DirecTV has the most Major League Baseball games with no satellite dish required. Visit directtv.com/johnboy to stream live MLB games from the comfort of your couch or on the go. And we know how important that is because everybody's got a busy schedule, including my dude. Trevor Plouffe, who can't sit still in the afternoon because he's got to hang out with his really, really highfalutin friends, or he's got to take care of his kids, which is a really, really nice thing. So go check it out, DirecTV. All right, we continue on. Jose Altuve. He's a man that's changing everything. He changed positions from second base to left field, and now he is changing himself in the batting order. Went to Joe Espada, and he said, listen, I need more time to get ready for my first inning at bat. I can't hit leadoff anymore because left field is way far away, and I got these little feet, and they don't get me quite to the dugout in time. So the extra 10 seconds or so, this is no joke. He's the one who said this.
Did he say my little feet?
He did not say my little feet. That's an editorial discretion. I'm just having fun, whatever. The point is that it takes him a little extra time to get ready, and he wants to do that for the team. He actually had a press conference before the game and made his point. And we're all thinking, really? Does it really matter if you hit second? Well, you tell me.
That ball driven high and deep to left field. Altuve hits the community leaderboard sign, basically on the train tracks. Train number 27 has just left Union Station. Astros lead 4-3.
Okay, so I want to get back to his explanation because he had a couple of hits, and Jeremy Pena, who's now hitting leadoff, had a couple of knocks as well. Does Altuve know what he's talking about when he says, I need a little more time to prepare, or does it make zero sense?
First off, I cheered for that against my buddy Jack Flaherty right there. I forgot that he was pitching last night. Christian Walker and Altuve snake bit him. It makes sense to me, Chris, especially in today's game where we're timing everything. There's 2 minutes in between innings. So for Jose to go from left field to the first base dugout, which is where they're at, that's like the longest run that you can have on the baseball field. And then, you have to get your helmet, you have to get your gloves, you got to make sure the pine tar is good, you got to get up, maybe swing your bat with a donut a few times to get loose, and by the time you do that, you're in the box. And if you're not in the box, you're going to get a strike called on you. So I can see it making sense. I'm going to give a little bit of an example for people that that don't play baseball. So basically, with no time like that, no time to get ready to kind of take a breath at all. It'd be like if you're on the golf course and you're a guy that takes a practice swing before each swing, which I think most people do. Mm-hmm. Go do a round without any practice swings before and just see how uncomfortable you feel. I think that is a good comparison. You're just thrown into the fire. Maybe it'll make you better as a golfer because a lot of my friends that are really good at golf don't take practice swings. So maybe I need to take that advice myself. But I'm okay with this. It's different for him. He is getting a little bit older as well. I think that does come into the equation. But that extra run, 2 minutes. 2 minutes is pretty quick. I think it's okay to say, hey, whoever Pena, you're young, you're ready, go do it, and I'll hit behind you. I think it's fine. But that makes sense to me.
I really only brought it up because my buddy Rob Stone, who's an avid listener of this show, and remember our old intern Alden, his dad. Rob is a former college pitcher at Cal. Was I think he was roommates, certainly teammates with Jeff Blum, Astros announcer. So I'm sure he listens to his buddy occasionally, and then he found out about this, and he asked me about it, and I didn't have any explanation, so I wanted to tap into you. But the only thing is that it only works in the first inning.
Yeah.
Only because he can't determine when he hits after that. He could hit leadoff the rest of the game if they keep, right?
He could, yes.
So it's really only a 1 inning discussion.
I really don't mind it at all. Another situation. What if you have to use the restroom? It's right there in the dugout, but you don't have enough time.
This sounds like some serious first world baseball problems.
It's not though, because prior to 2 or 3 years ago, you could take your time. If you needed time and you were getting stuff ready, just go like this to the umpire. 1 sec, bro. Now, if you do that, they might throw you out of the game. They take this shit serious, dude. So I get it. I do.
But he's up there hacking anyway. I mean, how often is he looking at the first pitch? That dude,
man.
He ready.
Would give me fits. Playing third base against Jose Altuve was so difficult, especially early on in his career. He was had control of where he hit the ball. If I played him on the line, he hit in the hole. vice versa. If I played him up, he'd whiz one by me. If I played him back, he'd bunt. Like, I have nightmares about that. I don't. But
he's going to be 35. He's going to be 35 in May. Can't believe that. All right, pair of big Rob. Good job. Thanks for adding some editorial content to the show. Pair of big divisional series got started in the American League on Monday. Over in the American League East, Baltimore hung on to beat the Yankees, and Felix Bautista. It's good to see him back. He got Aaron Judge on some nastiness. Yeah, that lady loved it. She was great. Great cutaway in the crowd, and then Cody Bellinger on a 3-2 high cheese. He couldn't catch up, so he was done. 4-3 was the final there. In the meantime, AL Central, first of a 4-game set between the Twins and the Guardians. So we call it the Baseball Today Bowl, if you will. Round 1, it was a knockout early.
Eddie Julian leads off, and the first pitch is over, and Julian bangs it to right center field. On the move goes Nolan Jones, and that ball is gone. Leadoff home run for Eddie Julian. And the Twins on one pitch take a quick 1-0 lead.
Well, they only added 10 runs after that, so 11-1 your final there in Cleveland. I appreciate you keeping the trash talk to a minimum on our chat.
Well, it was basically, I was talking about Gavin Williams. We always kind of talk about him and the stuff that he has. I'm like, dude, this guy needs to lower the arm slot, fix something. But you're totally right with him. Like, it's just, he's so inconsistent.
He threw his best game of the year last week against the Yankees, and then his next one, he doesn't even throw a pitch in the third inning.
It's it's just command. If he has command, it's okay. But like the fastball needs a little bit of this on it or something.
Yeah, it's 97 and very straight.
Yeah.
So the question is, Baltimore and Minnesota have both gotten off to very, very slow starts. The Twins have seemingly turned the corner a little bit. Baltimore, we're still kind of waiting on. What's your confidence level in each of those playoff hopefuls?
It's not too high, to be honest with you. The only thing for both. I'll get into it. I think the AL being, what we were calling weak this year, I think keeps both of these teams in the race. And both have been dealing with injuries just like everybody. Royce Lewis hasn't played for the Twins. They have gotten back in the swing of things. Playing the White Sox or the Angels definitely helps, but sometimes that's what you need is just like some victories to remind you, oh yeah, we can win baseball games.
Victories.
Yeah, we can do it. So I think the Twins can get back in the race in the AL Central. I think the Tigers are a very good team, but I still believe it's going to be a 3, maybe a 4-team race by the end of the season. We'll see if the Royals can figure out their offensive woes. And the Orioles, if they can bring back some of their starting pitching that's on the IL, because they have a ton of starting pitching that's on the IL, and then the offense can get going. There's a lot. I think the Orioles have more to get going than the Twins do. And people will say I'm a homer, but that's just kind of the truth. Like, they're not hitting at all. Do I believe in these guys? Yeah, like they've put together years before so they can do it. Something's got to give, man. They were talking on the broadcast about Gunnar Henderson, like showing a little bit of fire. Like something's got to go. Like if this was a team that a veteran was on, like someone go get thrown out of the game. Someone lights somebody up. Like something has to happen there. And then, yeah, get your pitching back. Like, can they get back in the wild card chase, the Orioles? I think so. But for both these teams, it's got to happen sooner than later. I know we're barely at the end of April here, but it's time.
It's basically been 2 guys on Baltimore's offense that have carried them. Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn have both played exceptionally well. OPS is well over 900. Rutschman, under 700. Holiday, under 700. Tyler O'Neill, under 700. Westberg, who just, I believe, went on the injured list. Gunnar Henderson, 655. I know he got a late start, so I'm willing to waive that one. Who knows how long Kowser, I think I just saw that he got put on the 60-day, along with Grayson Rodriguez. They've got a lot of issues. And we just mentioned the hitting. The pitching is the main problem, right? Worst ERA in baseball going into Monday. Second fewest strikeouts. Sagano actually had a wonderful game last night. He had 9 strikeouts total in his first 5 starts. And then last night he struck out 8 Yankees. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see if they can catch fire. You've heard me rant against the Orioles. I've just been really frustrated because I felt like they built the team the right way, and then they just didn't add the toppings. And they just didn't do a good enough job here. I have much more faith in your Twins. Although I could not believe how bad some of I know we're not a batting average league anymore, But when they put the stats up at the starting lineup last night, I was like, what the hell? What's going on with this team?
It hasn't been great. I mean, new hitting coach there. Maybe there's a transitional period. But I don't know, man. Looking at the schedule, Baltimore's won consecutive games only once this season. It was against your Guardians, by the way.
Yeah.
So like they're not in a winning mentality whatsoever. The Twins weren't either, and it was showing. And then again, they played the White Sox and the Angels had a 5-6 road homestand, and like that alone right there can just remind you, oh yeah, we can win games. Like you need a streak like that. So can Baltimore do it? They can. But they got a lot that they have to fix, Chris.
And they are getting a ton of grief from their fan base with the guy in the dugout and the guy who's making the decisions on putting the roster together. It's so weird. They went from a 100-win team a couple of years ago to where we are right now. It has been a remarkably slow start through almost 5 weeks of the season.
I want Gunnar, I need you, bro. Like I love watching you play.
I know. God, I hope he didn't rush his injury. That's the one thing.
Yeah. But these are the teams, Chris. This is what I talk about all the time. Like, you need to bring in veterans for teams like this. Mm-hmm. Like, they're still a fairly young team. They're not like the young darlings anymore. They're not. But they're still a fairly young team. Not a lot of dirt on the spikes. Like, you need somebody in there that's like a good vocal leader that's been around the block, that just can set the ways. Like, a manager can't always do that and shouldn't always do that. So, like, I don't know, man.
Well, I don't know if, I don't know Tyler O'Neill. He certainly has had enough time in the bigs to do that. It's just we would be speaking out of turn if we said, yes, he either is that guy or isn't that guy.
Isn't JD Martinez already there? Or he's not signed? Like, let's skid him.
He's definitely not signed. I mentioned that Ryan O'Hearn is a guy that's off to a great start. So he hit a 3-run homer earlier in the game, gave them a nice lead, and we know that they do the whole hydration station thing. Well, I don't know if you heard this via social media.
And the hydration station.
Suck my fucking balls.
Hey now.
What did he say, Chris?
Well, we'll play it again, Danny boy.
And the hydration station.
Suck my fucking balls.
So apparently,
wait, go back to that. Go to Adley's face. He sees the camera. Watch this. Pause it.
Suck my fucking balls.
Maybe that's what they needed, Chris.
Maybe that's it. Somebody obviously got to Ryan O'Hearn and said, hey, listen, there's this thing on social media. And it was great because they're around his locker after the game so that he can talk about hitting a home run and everything else and this nice year that he's had. He stopped the press conference at the beginning and he said this.
I'm going to start by apologizing to the kids, watching. There's a hot mic in the dugout there. And, obviously we're fired up and say some things that we shouldn't maybe, we don't want kids to hear. So I just want to say sorry for that.
I thought that was nice because he directed it to the kids. He doesn't have to apologize to anybody else. This is not his fault. This is our game, meaning the television game, infiltrating your space in the dugout. They don't need to watch their language. Y'all can do whatever you want in the dugout when it comes to that stuff. That is your area. And if we're the ones that are kind of eavesdropping, then shame on us. But I thought it was really classy that he said, hey, before we get to anything else, I want to apologize to the kids. You don't need to be hearing that. Good move.
Dude, hot mics are in a big league stadium. They're all over the place. I had my first year broadcasting. I was doing like a pregame hit somewhere down the field. So I had one of those mics that, they clip on, whatever they're called.
Yes.
And I forgot that it was on. And when it's on, it's like going back to like the truck and like whatever, the main headquarters. And I was talking to our head of travel, Mike Herman, who's like a buddy of mine I've known forever. And I was talking to him like nobody was listening to me. And I made a reference to his genitalia and how big it was.
Oh,
just real locker room talk, just having fun with him.
And shout out Mike Herman's genitalia.
Yeah, shout out Mike. And so then I get like a text like, hey, you need to turn your mic off. That's really inappropriate what you just said. And I was like, okay. Got to watch yourself, people.
So you just decided to say the story again right now.
I don't care. This is fine. I can say whatever I want here. This is my show, our show. And I didn't say, I said, how big is genitalia? You don't know if it's big or small. It's just how big.
Well, now
you got to know. Now you're thinking about it.
No, but now you better say so. You better put a definitive mark on this, because now people are going to be walking around Target Field, and the next time they see Herm.
We're done with this, okay? This is enough. I apologize to the kids.
Ryan O'Hearn, that was great, though. That was really well done. It was very funny stuff. Okay, today's episode, Baseball Today, sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it? With over 4,000 hotels worldwide, Best Western is there for every detour, destination, and unexpected turn along the way. So whether you're hitting the road, traveling for work, or chasing the next big game, there's a room waiting for you. But a great stay isn't just about rest, it's about what comes next, because travel isn't always predictable, but that's what makes it great. Best Western is there for every wrong turn that leads to the right story, every unplanned turn that becomes a highlight, every moment that makes a lasting memory. So stay out a little later, take the scenic route, and make the most of the ride. Ready to get going on your next adventure? It's waiting for you at Best Western. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. I'm laughing a little bit because our little rescue dog, Sydney, just popped in here. She never comes in here. Where are you, sitters?
What's up, Sid?
Oh, yeah, she's the best. How's your pooch doing, by the way?
She's doing great. We actually have a rescue pup with us as well now. Olivia's sister's dog is with us.
Oh, good.
So now Palmer, our dog that we have, is like, she doesn't really know what to do. She's like, I got to share this space. She wants to play all the time. And this Sugar's the other dog.
Sugar.
And Sugar's like, Sugar's old. And Sugar's like, I'm not about that life all the time, Palmer.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to chill out. And Palmer does not understand that. So it's been fun.
Yeah, Sydney's about 13. We're not even so sure. We got her right during the 2013 World Series between the Red Sox and the Cardinals. While I was on the road, they got her. So she's got to be about 13 is what we think. That's my girl, though. Where are you, sweetie? Nothing. Okay. Very cool moment before the series opener between the Marlins and Dodgers. Game won by the LA Dodgers. Tommy Edman with a walk-off. Former Dodgers first base coach, now Marlins manager, Clayton McCullough, got his World Series ring, which I thought was really neat. You'll see old teammates come back and get a hug from a few. Like the entire Dodgers team poured out and made sure they gave this guy love. That shows you how much he meant to them.
Yeah, I had like some phone conversations with Clayton when I was like kind of trying to work for the Dodgers way back when, and even through those phone conversations, you can tell like how positive and cool of a guy he was. So this is like not a shock to me. Like he obviously formed a lot of relationships there. He's just that kind of person where he's the energy guy. He's the guy that brings the positivity every single day. The Marlins got a good one for sure. Like he is exactly who they need. And it was very cool to see that, and well deserved. Like I said, it's the kind of person he is.
And for such a young team like the Marlins are, I imagine that is great respect.
Well,
right?
Well, knowing that they're probably not going to have a winning season, like they need somebody that's going to show up and set the tone. He's not going to just lay over and just be like everything's okay. That's not the kind of person he is, but it's like positive reinforcement a lot with him, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. All right. This was a fun show. A lot to get into. Tell Herm we say hello. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, thanks, Dan. Latest City Connects for the White Sox came out. It is a joint venture with the Chicago Bulls. That's why we got the red and black. They actually have stitched, I think, in the back of the jersey, the White Sox championships, which there obviously aren't a ton of, and then the Bulls championships right there in between. They've got their 6 Bulls titles in between the 1917 and 2005 White Sox World Series crowns. Do you like that?
I don't hate them, Chris. It's a little too Bullsy for me.
Yeah.
Like so much they had to put the big white sock to make sure that people are like, hey, this is still the White Sox. I don't know. I think they're cool. They're cool. I don't hate them.
Split household here. Josh said they were a joke. He feels like Billy Donovan should be managing in the dugout. That's of course the Bulls coach.
It's just a little too bullsy.
It is too bullsy. It's too bullsy and not enough White Soxy.
Yeah, like it doesn't seem like a collaboration. If you're asking me.
It looks like a collaboration by the Bulls marketing team.
And Chris, they had like one of the best City Connects.
They did.
It was tough
totally. Yes. They were one of the teams that didn't screw it up out of the gate.
I will say this. Knowing like the work that went into the Twin City Connect and knowing the people that did it and them explaining how long it took, like I know a lot of work goes into these and it's not an easy thing. Like they know when they put these graphics out, most of the time it's going to be hate. Few people are going to like them. So, shout out to the team that did them. We're allowed to give our opinion. I think it's just a little too much ballsy.
Yeah. Well, give us your thoughts.
All that matters is people in Chicago. People in Chicago, tell us what you think.
No, I don't know if that's it, because I think if they're cool enough, people will buy them regardless. I think.
Name your favorite City Connect jersey.
In the comments.
Well, on the spot.
Or I'm different. I always liked the Padres ones. Most people didn't. I did.
Those are awesome, Chris.
I liked the Marlins. I used to have a Miggy Rowe red.
Oh, the sugarcane ones?
Yeah, I liked those too. I thought those were pretty neat. And those were two of the early ones. Like, I couldn't stand the Boston yellow. I didn't like that.
Oh, I don't mind that one. I think they should just be very different.
Yeah.
Very different from your own uniform.
Well, how much should it sink its teeth into what the fabric of the city is about, in your opinion?
I mean, that's the whole point of it. So
I know, but it's not always successful.
It's not always successful. The Padres ones for me are awesome because I felt like they did transcend baseball a little bit. Like people just like that colorway and like the kids love it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like even at Teddy's school, like this is a Dodger. We're in LA, and you'll see kids wearing Padres jerseys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually didn't mind the Angels. I think. No,
just kind of plain. The cream ones.
Yeah, they are a little plain, but they're
like that. What did that represent?
Nothing. They said the beach. Seattle's. I couldn't get past the softball pants.
The Twins went away from their blue pants, and this year they went with the white with their jerseys.
Yeah, you got to be careful. All right.
Okay.
You can leave us a list. You can give us like your top 3 or 4 or 5, whatever you want to do in the comments section. We always like that. We'll announce some Applebee's winners. Who's going with us to Applebee's?
Who coming with us, baby?
All right. That's awesome. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our amazing intern, Sawyer, go LA Kings. That is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Wednesday here on Baseball Today.